Welcome everyone to today's level 2 Chimera Fit class. We're going to get a full body workout with a little bit of extra attention to things we can do for both mobility and stability in the hips, kind of at the same time, using both of those principles of getting our hips moving but in a safe way where our muscles are active around it. We're not just overstretching and hanging out on our ligaments. So to do that, we'll use a yoga block, because there's actually a few yoga poses that are some of my favorite things for hip opening. And then we'll also use a foam roller if you've got one. Otherwise a rolled up towel will work, or when we get to it, even your Pilates ball would work. So quite a couple extra props today. Foam roller, yoga block, and then like always our bands and a couple free weights. And then we should be good to go. So once you've got all of your things handy, we're going to start in sitting. And you can bring maybe your opposite foot in front just to get a little bit of variety to how you're sitting and what the forces are like going through your hips. And then just for a moment, we're going to check in with your breath. You put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Close your eyes for a moment. And without really changing too much of anything, just notice where the breath is in your body right now. Notice how much is moving in this upper part of the chest versus the lower and into the belly. And if you're noticing a lot of upper chest breathing, which isn't wrong, but it's more of a kind of a stressed, more active, sympathetic nervous system part of our background breathing pattern, just before we get started, to let that relax for a moment and see if you can direct your breath just a little more toward the lower hand on your belly. Not that the top hand doesn't move at all, but making sure the majority of your breath is down, a little bit more of a belly breath. Let your abdominal muscles relax. Sometimes we kind of tense them, especially in sitting. So this is definitely more advanced. You can try laying down if you're having a hard time letting your abdomen go. We kind of get into the habit of maybe sucking in our gut or our belly. You don't have to breathe really extra deep or anything, or just like letting your belly relax enough to let the breath be directed down into the larger part of the lungs on the bottom. Take just another moment here. And then when you open your eyes, we're just going to take a little seated spine twist. You can go right hand to your left knee. Gently turn and look over the left shoulder. And seeing if you can allow those belly breaths to continue. But then go ahead and make it a little bit of a deeper breath so that the lower ribs start to expand too. And then we'll untwist. Left hand to right knee, look over the right shoulder. Abdomen nice and soft. Let yourself sit up a little taller. And then we'll come back to the center. You can bring your feet forward, about hip width apart, and then with either your hands behind you, or if you feel safe to balance, we're going to rotate the hips into a little hip windshield wiper, just rotating to twist both knees toward the right, bring it back to the center, and then twist them over to the left. So your shoulders and your trunk will kind of follow along naturally, just to allow the hips to move in both directions. Or sitting back, getting a little rotation of the hip down. Good. And then continue a couple more just like this. Or on the next one, option to, once you get down, to press down and lift yourself up into the knee, and then slowly let yourself down. Wiggle the feet around, try the other side. Press down, lift up, and then come down. We'll wiggle around. Nice. So just once on each side. Then once we come back to the first side, get yourself set up, and we'll do a couple in a row. So if you come up with the left leg, and whichever leg you have in front, hinge it back to set yourself back down, and up and back down, just getting a little bit of mobility in your hips and your knees. Option to hold on or just stick with the windshield wipe part of it. And about 2 more, just allowing yourself to move gently without using too much momentum. And then we'll swivel around to this box position of the leg in front of you, other side. Press down and see if you can press up. Slow motion, let yourself down. Lift up with a little bit of intention and control. Let it down slow, maybe about 2 more. 1 more time. And then once we come down, you can pause right here, bring your right hand down, make a little adjustment so that you feel comfortable here. We'll add a thread the needle by reaching up to the sky with the left arm, and then reach under the right. So inhale to reach up. Oops, adjust microphone here. Exhale to go down. Keeping your spine really long, almost like you're reaching your head toward the top half of your mat as you reach down. Instead of trying to sink down and reach your head down toward your hip, think about reaching your head as far away as you can get it. And then we'll try 1 more on this side. Really nice combo movement, spine and hips involved. Once we come up on that side, you can flip around, try the others. So we've got left arm on the floor, right arm reaches up, spiral starting from the lower rib cage. So the center of your body starts the movement, and then the hands, the arm, the shoulder, everything attached to your ribs kind of follows along for the ride. Good. Start to coordinate a bit with your breath. So we inhale as you open, exhale as we twist. And 1 more time. Perfect. We'll come back up to the center. And then we'll bring your legs around. Find a hands and knees position. With weight on, you're going to continue staying on your right leg, and then let your left leg come straight out to the side. Your foot can be, I don't know if you can see my foot here, can be kind of facing forward. It can be pointing out, kind of what's comfortable for your foot. So you just want your leg more or less straight to the side. Back foot either toe under or toe propped up if that's comfortable. And so what we're going to do is sit back, keeping this left leg straight. Rock back toward your heel so you get a little stretch in that inner thigh and the groin. And then come back up. So you're leaning a bit back. And then at the same time, that left foot is going to, your heel is going to push a little bit into the floor. So that left leg isn't totally passive and doing nothing. It's giving like a little bit of effort so you can feel the muscle firing on the inner part of your thigh to give you a little bit of support as we rock back. And then reach back up and sitting back. And up we go. Let's try about 2 more. Definitely don't force it, this inner thigh, groin area. Sometimes if you haven't worked on mobility there, it might be a little sensitive, so don't feel like you need to force it. Nice. And we'll come on back up, bring that side in, and then either switch, turn around if you need space, or just switch sides so the other leg is out. Back toe, how is comfortable for you, and then we'll just gently rock back, giving that right inner thigh a little stretch. And back up. Lean back 1-2 seconds. So just going on and off of that stretch while your heel is anchoring you to the floor. And in fact, think about supporting yourself with mostly your legs, so your hands are really not doing too much of anything. You could even come up on your fingertips to make sure that you're not relying on your hands to push yourself down. They're just there for a little bit of balance. And about just a couple more. If you have knees that hyperextend like me, you're going to have like the tiniest little micro bend. You may not be able to see that I don't have my knees totally locked out. I've got a tiniest little bend in there. And then one more time. Perfect, good. We'll bring that side in and then lean the hips to the right. Give yourself a kind of a circle, child's pose going around clockwise and then reverse counterclockwise. Once you get to the top, reverse your circle each time. You can allow your spine, your back to get a little bit involved with that, or keep it just with the hips. So one more each way. And then once we come back up to the center, we'll turn your toes under, flip the hips up to a down dog. First down dog of the day. Give your heels a little press one at a time toward the floor. And then let both heels reach down. If your heels are able to touch the floor, we're going to lift the toes up and let each toe down one at a time. Pinky toe, fourth, third, two, one big toe, and then like a wave reverse, big toe, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then one more time, pinky toe, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then big toe, second, third, fourth, fifth. Nice. Next breath, we'll walk forward bend. 2 rounds of breath. Stand a little stronger into the ground with all 10 toes. Inhale, reaching up with a little bit of a back bend. Heart reaches up nice and tall to the sky. And then exhale, hands back into a prayer position. Nice. So then we're going to get our weights ready in just a moment. We're going to do some squats, sumo squats. So since we just did some hip opening, we're going to do squats with a wide leg position. But before adding any weight to it, let's warm that up a little bit. So just starting with feet a little wider than hip width apart. Toes at a little bit of an angle, and we're going to sit into our nice wide leg squat, down and back up. Shins should be about vertical, down, nice. Hips may go a little lower than parallel if you've got the mobility to, but don't feel like it has to go that deep if there's any pinchiness in your hip. You're still sitting backwards, so that's the difference between like a plie and ballet. You keep your butt tucked underneath you and your back is really straight, whereas like in a squat, it's more like sitting into a chair that's behind you, but there's like something in your way. You just have to reach back to it this way. All right, let's try 2 more. Pressing through the heels on the way up. Nice neutral spine. Perfect. Good. And then for the upper body, we're also going to combo that in a moment with overhead press, but to warm that up, we're just going to bring the hands up about shoulder height, hands forward a bit and just with thumbs up, small circles. The arms. Anchor your feet to the ground. Find that contact with all 10 of the toes. Ribs connected to pelvis. See if we can circle the arms with as little amount of movement of the rest of your body. So instead of this, just keep it the arms, shoulder blades, then reverse your circle. Watch out for your curtain. Maybe stand a little taller. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. We'll let the arms rest. Give everything a little shake. Maybe take a sip of water if you need it. So then we're ready for adding the weight portion of our squat. For whoever's ready for that. So we're going to do the same sumo squat we just did. This with the option to add a little bit of resistance with some weight. And what we'll do is we'll hold the weights just at your shoulders because we're going to combo it with an overhead press. So we're going to find my spot here. So we've got feet a little wider than hip width apart, neutral spine. You're going to sit down into your squat, come up, and then press straight up. Ribs stay down and in, and down. 1. We come down into your squat, stand it up, reach to the sky, slowly come down. If you notice I'm going a little slower, and up, reach. Sometimes we want to go fast and just knock it out. We'll slow things down. So we're really using all of our stabilizers. You can really feel where you're at in space. 4, slow, and press up. 5, slow to come down, press those heels. 6, we're going to keep that little bit of a neutral spine, so hips way back behind you. Up. 7, will almost feel like your back is arched a tiny bit. 8, and 2 more, squat down, and 9, and that's 10. Beautiful. We're going to set weights down. And then find a wide leg forward fold. So feet a little wider than hip width apart again, hinging at your hip. Allow your head to reach down toward the floor. You can give your hips a tiniest little wiggle. And then pause there for a moment, or option to reach your hands between your feet behind you a little farther. Let the ribs expand in all directions here. Find the connection between your pinky toe and your mat. So the little tiny foot muscles are active, supporting you. Walk yourself up. Slowly roll it back up. We'll wiggle the feet back in together. Give your arms, legs a little rest, a little shake before we do a second round. So one last thing then before we do get back into our squat, we're going to raise, just do a simple heel raise, just waking up the calves, coming up on the tiptoes. Arms forward, shoulders back, and then drop the heels down, lift it back up. Standing tall, drop the heels down, and up, down, and up. Pull the heels in towards each other. Good. Come down, and then find something to balance on. We're going to shift your weight to one foot. Raise up on one heel, 2, or on one toe, one heel comes up, 3. Do as close to 20 as you can, 4. 5 hand can go on your hip, it can go wherever you want to put it, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If 20 feels out of reach, just do what you can. Get the heel up as high as you comfortably can. Calf should be having a little bit of burning. All right, and once you get to 20, we'll switch and try the other side. I'm just holding onto my window. So you just need like a little something for fingertip support. You don't really want to make this a balance exercise. I mean, you can. It just makes it significantly more advanced. Let's focus on just the strength to begin. 3. You're going to keep your knee nice and straight. 4. Standing tall. 8. This is a nice one to do. 10. Other times, like if you're waiting for water to boil. 9. In between a Zoom call. 7. Waiting in line. 6 for something. 5. 4. 3. 2. And last one. Whew. All right. Give that calf a little break. Wiggle the toes around a little bit. Take a little sip of water. And then we'll move on to our second round of our squats. So same thing we just did. So sumo squat into our overhead press. Toes pointing out just a bit. Hands about shoulder height. So we're going to check the back end angle. I'm going to have you turn. Can you turn to the side? I would love to see what your back, there you go, what your hips and back are doing. Okay, so we're going to keep your tailbone kind of poking out behind you as you come down into your squat. Okay, and then back up. Good, chest lifted just a smidge more. Up, 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 up. Yes, there she is. Much better. So what happens is we're avoiding leaning forward. Nice. Right? And keeping there's going to be some forward lean. Sorry, I don't mean to say we're avoiding it completely, but we're avoiding leaning forward more than necessary. So just enough that your trunk is at about the same angle. You'll see where my shin is at. My knees are a little bit forward. Your trunk wants to be, in general, should be at about the same amount of angle forward as the shins are relative to your feet. A lot of that is a trunk stabilization. Dan, you can keep your back up a little bit too. Try not to lean quite so far forward. So hips back, but chest up just a smidge more. Yeah, it makes it harder. I think I lost count. Maybe 2 more. And here's our last one. Beautiful. Nice. So just a quick recap on that. The squat, sometimes if your trunk muscles aren't doing a full job of supporting you, you'll tend to lean forward a little bit. So if you gotta really use your back extensions to keep your trunk lifted on the way down so you don't lose your neutral spine and end up rounding either this way or this way. But by the end, those look good. Okay, one more little calf raise variation then. Catch your breath. This one you're going to want to definitely use a wall. And because we're going to work the smaller muscle in the calf, your soleus, you're going to go hands on wall. And I'll show you from the side here. Your position is going to be with your knees bent. So we're going to raise up on tippy toes, kind of like Michael Jackson style here. So the knees will be bent, but you can use your hands on the wall for a little bit of balance. Feet will be about hip width apart. Bend the knees a bit and then raise up on the toes and down. You're going to keep your knee bent the whole time. So it's just the ankles moving, nothing else. And this works the smaller muscle in your calf. It's underneath the one that you can see easily. And we'll try as close to 20 as you can. You might notice 12, this might feel harder than you would think. It's working it's called your soleus muscle. And there's 20. Beautiful. Very nice. We'll find the back half of your mat. When you're done, take a nice big inhale, exhale, forward fold. We'll walk your hands out, find a plank. Pause here for 2 full rounds of breath. And then chaturanga, lower your chest, knees down as an option. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. We're going to shift the weight to the left foot, lift the right, 3-legged down dog. And then step that foot through between your hands. Plant your left heel down and then lift up to a warrior 1. Square the hips, square the shoulders, standing tall. We'll open up the arms to a warrior 2. Maybe lift your ribs a little higher from your pelvis. Drop the shoulders low to the ears. We'll bring the back hand back to the knee. Flip the hand up to the sky, reverse warrior. Cartwheel the arms down. Framing your foot, square the hips, step back, find a plank. Chaturanga, lower the chest down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. We'll shift the weight to the right foot, lift the left. Make yourself a little longer before stepping through. We'll plant the right heel, warrior 1. And then open up to warrior 2. You're going to see if you can make close to a straight line from your front hand to your back. So you get a little more rotation in the trunk. Reach the back hand to the back knee. Through reverse or warrior. And And then we'll cartwheel the hands down, frame your foot, step back to a plank. Pause and hold for breath. Chaturanga, lower the chest down. Inhale, cobra, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Shift the weight to the left foot, float the right one up. Push the floor away, ribs and pelvis connected. So we have a nice neutral spine, not sagging in your three-leg dog. We'll step that right foot forward again. Plant your left foot, and again, coming back up to a warrior one. Standing nice and tall. And then take a moment, take that back foot, step it forward a couple of inches. Pyramid pose. So we're going to bring the arms behind you, either just reaching them back or option to interlace your fingers, whichever feels better for your shoulders. Front, all 10 toes pointing forward on the front leg. We're going to hinge forward, keeping yourself as long as you can, pausing with your back flat to the ground. Tuck the chin. Once you've got yourself as long and tall as you can be, then option to fold forward a little further, but without collapsing into your legs. So you're still standing strong into your mat and holding yourself in this forward bend instead of just folding and flapping down on that front leg. Now stand into both feet to roll yourself up. We'll bring the arms back up to the lift, a little extension in the back to counter stretch. And then if you have a yoga block, I would recommend that we grab that. We're going to do triangle pose. So even if we are extra bendy, I like using a yoga block so that we're not overstretching in this position. So we've got forward foot, 5 toes forward, back foot in your warrior one position at a little bit of an angle. Front knee, it's going to be straight but not lax. We're unlock it just a smidge. Just turn the pelvis a bit to the side. Reach your arms out to the side, warrior two position to begin. We hinge forward to bring that right hand down to your yoga block. So your arm is more or less vertical. You're going to check that this supporting elbow doesn't lock. Float the left arm up to the sky. Find a little bit of a chin tuck. If looking up to the ceiling is bothering your neck for any reason, option to look down. And then see if you can stand a little stronger into your feet so that the weight through the bottom right hand is a little bit less. Find your breath. And then we're going to pick up the yoga block, turn and look at your hand, bring it forward in front of your foot about 2 feet. Float the back left foot up, half moon pose. And start by looking down at the floor. And then for more of a challenge to the balance, you can look to the side. You're going to stretch your back toe out, heel reaches out as far as you can, like you're standing on an imaginary wall behind you. Two more rounds of breath here. Again, standing strong into that right foot so that the right hand doesn't have too much pressure through it, just a little bit for balance. And we'll step back to a warrior two with as much grace and control as you possibly can. Very nice. We'll bring your cartwheel the arms down. Maybe push the yoga block off to the side for a moment. Step back to a plank. Vinyasa, or just meet in a down dog. Chaturanga, up dog, down dog. Shift the weight to the left foot, float the right one up. Sorry, opposite. Left leg's up, right leg is down. Sorry. Make yourself really long in your 3-leg dog before stepping that left foot through. Right foot plants down to the ground, and we'll float up to a warrior one. Slide your feet just slightly closer together than for pyramid pose. Bring the hands, just continue to reach behind you, or option to interlace the fingers. Hinging forward, so first getting your back parallel to the floor, so we're pausing here, kind of like a hip hinge. Find a little bit of a chin tuck. Notice all the back muscles doing some work to hold you there. A lot of work happening in that front left hip. Then on your next breath, you can fold forward a little further, keeping some control, some activity in the legs and your back. to hold you here. Two more rounds of breath. And then we'll use the strength of your feet. They become so heavy into the mat that your body floats up, arms reach up to the sky. Good, we're gonna grab your yoga block for triangle pose. If you feel comfortable with hand on floor, you can of course do that. But we've got our warrior stance, left toes forward, right toes at a little bit of an angle. I'm gonna straighten that front knee, but not totally locked. Find a little bit of a hinge to bring the left hand down, and then right arm comes up. So we have more or less a straight line from the top of your fingers on the right hand to the heel of your hand on the left. Think about extending the crown of your head out away from your tailbone as far as it will go. So we're creating as much length in your spine as possible. And then using your leg strength to bring yourself back up to warrior one. Briefly pick up your block and set it forward just a couple of feet in front of that front foot. And float the back right foot up, half moon. Continue looking at your hand for more balance support, or option 2, turn to look at the side. Lots of great hip stabilization work happening here in this pose. I love that for this. 2 more rounds of breath. Really nice isometric, so we're holding, but not really moving your hip too much. Really helps stability. Then, as controlled as possible, we're going to step back, warrior 2. Nice, and we're just going to square the hips, step forward, bring your hands to prayer. And bring your arms down by your side, just standing in mountain for a moment. All 10 toes on the floor, opening the chest. Good, you can scoot your yoga block then out of the way. Find a little bit of water if you need it. And then we'll come to the front half of the mat, squat down into a goddess pose, or option to just sit in like a cross-legged position. Elbows give a little push against the knees. Crown of the head reaching up nice and tall. And standing just a bit, so like 25% effort of I'm almost about to stand up, but not quite. There you go. Just notice how the hip muscles switch on a little bit there. And keeping that little tiny bit of lift, we'll reach the left hand down, right arm up, add a little bit of a twist to it. Keeping that little lift in the hips. Come on back to center, and then right hand down, the left arm reaches up without sagging down. So you're almost standing up, reaching for something that's there. Don't stand up so much that your knee feels uncomfortable. Try one more. There's only so much pressure the knee might like there, so just a tiniest bit of muscle activity. One more time, twisting the other way. Back to center. And then you can wiggle yourself out of that. Bring your legs forward, give them a little shake and a twist. Maybe circle the ankles around a little bit there too. So after being in that deep squat for a minute, get the blood flow back, wiggle the toes. Nice job. All right, so we're gonna roll down the mat, get ready for some ab work. Have your Pilates ball handy. We'll use that in just a moment. And I'll put this little guy back. All right, so I'm gonna come all the way back onto your back. Pilates ball between the knees. Get ready for the 100. So before we do that, just take a moment. Settle to being on your mat. Close the eyes again. Recheck in with your breath for just a second here. See if on command you can switch into that nice relaxed breath. Notice the tailbone nice and heavy on the mat. Same with the rib cage. And then on your next breath, the end of your exhale, you can go ahead and keep that tailbone heavy as you bring one or both knees at the same time right up over the hips. Add a little bit of a crunch, extend the knees, option to go ball between the ankles, whichever your preference is, and then pulse the arms down for the 100 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 5. This is 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 5. Here's 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe feet a little lower. 6, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 5, and 7, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 9, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold. All right. Back down you go. We'll leave our ball off to the side for just a moment. Hug the knees. Give yourself a couple of rocks to come up to sitting. And in fact, we'll roll like a ball. So if you hold on to the heels or hold on behind the legs, we're going to roll back to the shoulders and then roll right back up. Once you come to the top, you're going to pause, balance. See if you can hold yourself there without letting your toes hit the mat. You're going to push the feet out against the hands. Hands pull into the feet so you have a nice tight little ball. Just going to about shoulder blades only so we don't crash your head into the mat. Give your back muscles a nice little massage. And 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Beautiful. We're going to balance. For just a moment, bring the knees together. Reach your heart up. Reach your arms out to the sky. We'll reach the legs out to a little bit of a boat. Maybe extend the knees more and lower down to a low boat. Good. And come on back. Rest down on the floor, knees to chest. And bring your feet down. And then we're going to take the ball between the 2 hands. We're going to roll up using the ball. So feet are going to extend along the mat. Option to do this without the ball. If you need your hands to help you. Reach up overhead, keeping the ribs on the floor, especially difficult while you're holding onto the ball. So you can find that contact of your ribs on the ground. Reach up overhead without arching your back off the floor. Glue your calves to the ground. Tuck the chin, and then we're going to peel yourself up. Reaching forward past the toes, keeping your spine nice and long. Inhale while you reach, and then exhale. Slow motion, roll it down, ribs stay in contact with the ground. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, tuck the chin, pull yourself up. Notice what your toes are doing. See if you can give them a little bit of space, spreading the toes apart like we did last week. We did lots of work on finding our little tiny toe muscles, so let's not forget them. Inhale as you reach up. Exhale. Inhale to reach up again. And then exhale slowly. Slowly. Bringing it down, ribs still touch the floor. I literally say that every time because even, I don't know, I've been teaching this like 20 years at least, I still have to remind myself to not arch my back. It's such a kind of easy compensation. Your body always wants to do the path of least resistance, so whatever is the easiest thing to do. But if our job is to challenge it, our job is to use our core muscles more, not let our spine compensate. We got to remind ourselves not to do that. All right. And one more time. Calves are nice and heavy on the mat. Ribs glued to the floor. Up and over we go. And toes apart, slow motion. Roll it down. Once we're on the ground, you can let your head rest down and leave the ball off to the side for a moment. Or I'm sorry, actually, one other thought. Hold on to your ball. I'm sorry. I forgot I wanted to use it for this. For leg circles, we're going to extend your left leg along the mat with the ball under like your lowest part of your calf, like right where your Achilles tendon is. So just almost your heel, but not quite. So you're going to have a little bit of an unstable surface to balance on while we reach the right leg up. I'm going to push down into the ball with your left leg and then single leg circle with the right. Exhale each time that leg comes up. And then pause at the top on the next one, and then reverse your circle. Check that our collarbones are staying nice and wide. Last 3, pelvis level, 2, and hold your last one, toes to nose. Spread the toes apart a little bit as you push down even stronger into the ball with that left leg. Then let that side down, switcheroo. You got the ball under your right lower shin. I don't know if that part of your body has a name. Lower shin, Achilles tendon, I guess. All right, I'm going to push down with the right heel, right leg, and circle the left. Big ha. Each time the leg comes up. And pause at the top, reverse your circle. Shoulders wide. Last 3, 2, a little bit of a chin tuck even here. 1, hold it, then toes to nose. Nice, hug the knee to your chest, give a little hug and back down you go. Then now we can push the ball off to the side. We're gonna find your loop band. Just around the thighs, standing strong into both feet. Get ready for a little bit of a bridge. So we're going to stand into your feet, push out a little bit into the bend, roll up. 1 vertebrae at a time. Chin lifted from the chest, standing nice and tall. Make yourself as long as you can be. Roll it down, slow motion, even though I know you can do this. You've done this a million times. See if you can make it as slow as you possibly can. Take a breath at the bottom, press out against the band, tuck the tailbone, stand strong into your heels, peel yourself back up 1 little vertebrae at a time. Good. Now we're going to shift the weight to the left foot, lift the right knee, option just the heel if the full foot is too much. Good. And then we're going to bring the knee towards you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it there and then press the knee out so it's close to your other leg and then pull it back in. So you're going to press it out, knees come close together and then pull up. That left hip stays lifted. Press out and in, and 1 more time out. Hold it with the knees side by side before you set your foot down. You can roll your tailbone back down to the floor. Take a breath. And we'll try that on the other side. Roll it back up, standing through the heels. Tuck your tailbone underneath you just a little bit more. Lift the left knee, or just the heel. Hold it there, and then a little pulse for 5. Knee to chest. 4, 3, 2, 1. Then reach a little bigger. Knees come close to each other, and then bring that knee in. And then reach it out. Knees close to side by side. Pause, and then curl it back in. Reach it out. Chin lifted from your chest, standing strong into that right heel. Bring it back in. 2 more. Reach it out. Knees together. And back in. Awesome hip stability work here. Reach it out. Bring it back in. Nice. Then you can set your foot down. Roll it down. When you're at the little spine twist side to side, you can go arms to your side. Just a little easy twist. Letting your pelvis lead the way. Knees, toes stay together. Perfect. And then we're going to come back to your bridge 1 more time. This time, starting with the right foot lifted. So right knee to chest. So we put all the weight on that left leg. Stand into the left. Come up. And then lower the hips down. Lift up. 2. And down. 3. And 4. Option to go hands free completely here. 5 if you want a slightly more challenge, or take pressure off the shoulders too. This feels good. 7, 8, 9. Awesome job. One more time, 10. We'll come all the way down and then switch sides. Left knee comes up. Option to use the hands or float them up. Stand into that right heel and up we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still breathing. 8, even if it's getting tough, especially if it's getting tough. 9, and that's 10. Down you go. Awesome job. I'm going to get rid of the band. Push it off to the side. Give your knees a little hug. And then you can roll yourself up. This is where we're going to use our foam roller. Or Pilates ball, by the way, is also going to work fine for this. So we're going to lay on the foam roller, so it's going to go horizontal across your mat. And then lay with your tailbone up on the foam roller. So take a second, find a spot that makes sense. It doesn't feel like you're going to float off of it, or doesn't feel weird on your back or anything like that. So get a comfortable spot that feels right. So then from here, once you've got yourself balanced, go ahead and reach the arms up to the sky. And then we're going to reach left leg down, right leg comes up towards you without arching your back. So you'll notice there's space. I can do this, but you're going to use a little bit of control of your abs to hold your trunk still and then switch. So pelvis and ribs stay connected. The leg comes down, but without arching your back. And then switch. Good job, Tiana. Tiana's doing it right. And switch. And switch. On this one, then we'll windshield wiper the legs around. A big circle. That's windshield wipe them around the other way. So we're going to alternate sides. So a circle around and circling. Find that rib pelvis connection. If your hands are tired of being up, you can go hands on pelvis and make sure that your pelvis is staying pretty still. That feels comfortable. And then around, slow. One more each way. If there's any pinchy weirdness, grinding kind of stuff in the hip, you can bring your legs a little closer so it's not such a deep stretch in the hips. Nice. And then we'll bring both legs straight up. Flex the toes back toward your nose. Point, and hold up to the sky, flex, point, flex, point. Just getting a little circulation into the legs. Point. Good. We're going to let your feet down. You can come up off of the foam roller. Bring yourself back down. And then scoot the foam roller toward the front half of the mat. We're going to sit up and then flip around onto your belly. Well, we've got the hands on the foam roller. Cats are always welcome in the class. So now we've got arms on the foam roller, thumbs up to the sky, feet about hip width apart, and then using back strength, tuck the chin. I'm going to press the arms down into the foam roller, lift the back up just a little bit, and then roll back down. And then lifting up, maybe one more vertebrae level higher, and slow motion, let it down. Reaching forward, let the shoulders pull down a bit away from the ears first. Then we press into the foam roller. Lift yourself back up. Go ahead and bring your hands onto the foam roller if you want to try to get up just a smidge higher if your back tolerates that. So you can use a little help from the hands at the top. And press down, shoulders anchored down out of the ears. Press, you can use the help from the hands to come up a smidge more. Take it nice and slow. Very nice. On the way down, and 2 more. Last one. Up we go. And back down. Perfect. We're going to push the foam roller out of the way. You can let your forehead just rest on the back of the hands for a moment here. And then keeping your back really still, pelvis tilt, single leg, a modified single leg kick. So just with your head down, 1, 2 kicks with the left leg, and then 1, 2 kicks with the right. Going a little slower, seeing if you can really notice if you're able to get that knee to move without your back pelvis getting involved. 1, 2, 1, 2, and just one more on each side. 1, 2, just nice, easy single leg kick. 2. Perfect. Then we're going to prop yourself up onto the elbows, interlace the fingers, and we're going to bend the knees, lift up to a little bit of a plank. Stay with a kneeling plank version, or option to come up on the toes. Because then from here, we're going to go up to a tall plank on the hands, up, up, and then down, down. Good. And then switch hands, so we'll go left, right, right, left, and right, left, left, right. Nice. I'll remind you, left, right, right. Option to bring the knees down, left, and right, left, left, right. All right, left, right, right, left, and right, left, and left, right. We got one more. Left, right, right, left, right, left, and left, right. You made it. Awesome jobs. Come on down to little Sphinx pose. Palms forward, shoulders relax from your ears, tuck the chin. Whew, take a few breaths. It's a toughie. And then we're going to let yourself come all the way back down to the floor. Arms reach down by your side. Take a breath. Then we're going to extend the back off the floor. Toes pressed down. And bring your arms straight out to the side like a big letter T. I need to scoot away from my thing just an inch. Thumbs up to the sky. Back lifted. Tap the pinky fingers down and then lift. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't even have to be too high. 4. Just enough to bring the shoulder blades together towards each other. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we'll reach up. Y position with the arms. Thumbs up to the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lower trap. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. And then down by your side, thumbs to the floor, pinky fingers to the sky. 10 here, letter I. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Awesome job. 10. Good. You can come on down. Press back into a child's pose. Give everything a little break. Toes together, knees apart. And walk your hands to the side of your choice. We'll do both. So pick whichever one you want to start with. And walk them over to the other side. Good. I'm going to come all the way back forward. Come up to hands and knees, and then bring the right knee forward. Pigeon, we'll go into a pigeon stretch. Option to do this laying on your back, ankle to knee. Of course, just first starting sitting up nice and tall so we get a little stretch in the front of the left hip. And then we'll wiggle that toe out from underneath you. Square the hips, back knee, cap on the ground. Pause, sit there, and then option 2, bring your pigeon down to the mat. And then with
without completely relaxing, you're just going to press your right ankle into the floor a bit for a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then let it totally relax. And then try again to press into the floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then let it go. And then one more time, push for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then complete relaxation. And slowly bring yourself up out of that side, and then try the other side. Left knee forward. We'll sit up tall. A little bit of weight into that right leg that's helping support you. Whew. And then we'll wiggle the left foot out from underneath. Good. Pause there for a moment. Now stay with that elevated version or option to come down. And check that back kneecap is down to the ground. Pelvis is level. Relax the shoulders. So you don't want to be so deep into the stretch that other parts of your body are tensing up. And we'll give that left ankle a little gentle push into the floor. Notice how the hips start to work a little bit here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it relax. See if we can train the muscle to be able to fire and be active even in this elongated position. And again, press in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. And one more time, push for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Nice. And slowly bring yourself back up to sit and roll back onto your back for Shavasana. Palms up to the sky. Allowing your breath to come back to that low belly, low ribs. And even notice the rest of your body that gets involved with each breath. The pelvic floor expands as you inhale. Same with the muscles of the lower back. And imagine each breath, all of your blood oxygenating and moving all the way down into the farthest points of your extremities. Each breath like it's reaching all the way into your toes and your fingers. Notice if there's any extra tension that your body's holding on to today. Maybe in your face or your jaw or the shoulders. Let each exhale be a chance to let some of that tension go. And begin to notice your body feeling a bit heavier on the mat, especially the points of contact, the base of the skull, your ribs, tailbone, hands, the calves and the heels, all sinking a little deeper into the mat. And then on your next breath, we'll gently bring a little bit of toe and finger movement back. And turn to your side. Pause here for just 2 more rounds of breath. And we'll bring yourself back up to sit. Finish by waking yourself back up with a nice big inhale, reaching to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart, closing your eyes, giving yourself some gratitude for being able to come to the mat today and for all those things you were able to do. Namaste.
All right, well, thanks for watching. And if you're looking for a gentle 30-minute workout to help with lumbopelvic or low back stability, be sure to check that out on my channel. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. And thanks for watching.